This episode is proudly brought to you by G Recovery, the Central Coast's leading destination for health, wellness, and performance recovery. From infrared saunas and compression therapy to ice baths and soft tissue treatments, they've got all the science-backed tools to help you feel and perform at your very best. Head to grecovery.com.au to book your next session or learn more. That's grecovery.com.au. Sweet. Well, I'm good when you are.
Are you starting?
Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Sweet. Well, thanks for coming on, mate. I'm keen to have you on.
I'm excited, man.
For those that don't know you, give us a bit of an overview of what you're kind of doing at the minute, and the space that you sit in.
Yeah, so I would call myself a performance and physique coach. So I work with people who pretty much want to get in shape. They want to perform at a higher level. But even just people trying to get into the fitness as well. So whether it's like a transformation they want to achieve or just feel better about themselves.
Are you working with general gym goers, athletes?
Both.
Both?
Yeah. So it used to be field-based sports. That's kind of where I started. But at the minute, it's honestly like bodybuilders, powerlifters, or even we've got endurance people as well. So people getting into running, half marathons, marathons.
Yeah, sick. Kind of wanted to start off with a bit of your story as to how you got here. I think it's something I'd planned this whole podcast around certain fitness topics, and then we started chatting, and I was like, scrapped half of it because you've got such an interesting story. So you were born in the Philippines.
Yes.
And how old were you when you came here?
I'm going to say 9.
9, yeah. How much do you still remember of the Philippines?
To be honest, not too much. It comes in like little bits. But from what I remember, it's a totally different world. And I think for me, like coming over here, it was such a shock. Because for me, I wasn't prepared to come over here. It was something that sort of happened with our family where I pretty much feel like I was just like flown over here, and then life just like changed in a minute. So, but from like what I remember, it's we were living the poor way, and we were living in like a house that was like a tin shed, and you kind of didn't know. Some nights you feel like you were gonna have dinner. And even at like 6 years old, I remember literally like helping out around the house, doing jobs, like sort of pumping water out of the ground. So it's a totally different life.
Yeah. Whereabouts were you in the Philippines?
So small town called Pampanga. It's probably about an hour and a half southish of Manila, which most people probably know Manila.
Yeah. Have you been back since?
To the Philippines, I have once last year, but not to where I come from.
Yeah. Do you think you ever will?
Yeah, that's the goal next year. So, yeah, I want to go back and literally just walk like where I used to walk, and I reckon it'd just be like nostalgic, and a bunch of stuff will just hit me.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So you moved over here when you were 6. Do you come straight to the Central Coast?
First moved into my uncle and my auntie's house, and that was in Empire Bay. So grew up there. Great place to grow up. Again, very different though, like straight into, I guess, the Australian culture or the Western culture where, here, I remember like everyone had Xboxes, everyone had games, everyone had pools.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is going on? Like everyone would play, 44 home, like all these stuff that like I was never exposed to. So really, really good. I seen how blessed the kids were here. But for me to fit into that mold was actually kind of hard at the start. Because when I grew up, it's going to sound weird, but for kids in the Philippines, you'd literally find like little rhino beetles, and you'd find another kid and you'd ask if they had a rhino beetle, and you'd literally fight the rhino beetles together, and like they'd like clamp their heads and throw them around. Or you'd actually have to use your imagination quite a lot. I remember I had this, those little like green army men?
Yeah.
I had one of them, and I remember climbing up this like huge steep hill, like I was about 6, but for me, it was like maybe 5 stories high. And I remember just putting a plastic bag around its arms and just throwing him off.
parachuting.
Yeah. That's literally, that was my childhood.
That's so good. Yeah. I have so many memories of being a kid and like we'd get the little green army men and sit them at the front of people's doorsteps and play knock and run. And so instead of them opening the door and there's no one there's these little green armies standing there.
Story type bad. Yeah. Love it.
Yeah. What was your experience like, in the schooling system here, coming from the Philippines and obviously moving to Empire Bay, completely different world? Yeah. How was your experience going through school?
Yeah, so to give you context, I remember in the Philippines, like our school would have been maybe like 3 rooms, right? Like just a little bit bigger than this, and like a courtyard that's just dirt. And the school wouldn't have a fence around it. Like it's free game, right? And I remember some days I actually would just leave. Like us and some of the kids, like we just wouldn't go back to the classroom. We'd like just go for a walk and we'd just wander into like it was like kind of like a wetlandy area, and you just walk, and then I'd just go home. And I don't know if the teachers were worried. Like mum never said anything, so I have no idea. So when you come to school here, it was, to me, it felt very just controlled. Right? So like you had to do the assembly first, you had to go to the classroom. Like we kind of had that a little bit, but not to the extent here. And also like I feel here that, there was just more topics that you actually had to learn. Where in the Philippines, it was like we had to learn English, that was a second language. And then it was a lot of like, I mean, I was younger, but it was just like a lot of like dancing and creativity. Whereas here I felt like it was more like academic stuff that I had to learn that I didn't necessarily care about.
Yeah.
I want to,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. How did you find like your social life here?
It was tough, first. So when I first come over here, even though I can speak English now, I could only speak my first language, which is Tagalog. So when I come over here around 9, I don't reckon I actually would have picked up English to a fluent enough level until I was like maybe 12-ish. So already at school, I was lucky enough I had like one best friend. He was awesome dude, and me and him were very close. But apart from that, I kind of felt like I had to make friends with my older cousins sort of group, and I kind of just floated around as like his cousin.
Yeah.
And I had to, do the things that they wanted to do, and I had to kind of figure out how their friendship groups were kind of like clicking. But
How much older was he?
Only a year older, but he even hung out with people older than him. Yeah. So I always kind of hang out with people older than me. But I actually didn't mind it because I actually spent a lot of time as a kid by myself anyways. So I was kind of felt like I was living this double life. Like I'd go hang out with him and his friends, and then I'd just go hang out by myself and I'd just do my own thing. And being in the country when you're like 12 years old, where you don't really know what's going on, I found it exciting to kind of just venture out, just try different things.
On your own.
Yeah. So like me and the best friend I was talking about, his name's Dale. We literally, at one point, he was living in a caravan like behind his parents' house. And even though I was living with my uncle, my aunties, I kind of liked living with him. So at like 12, we would just literally like go down to the skate park at like 9 p.m. at night. Like we would just go do whatever. We'd go bushwalks. So I found myself a lot in that time I spent in solitude and just trying all different things.
And you've kind of briefly mentioned putting on this mask when you're at school, and you said you kind of fell into a bit of the wrong crowd there.
Yeah. So I guess the mask that I was talking about is kind of what I was explaining. Like when I'd go hang out with them, I'd do what they want, and I wouldn't really speak up about like what I wanted to do, what I found interesting. And I guess the more I did that, the more I just wanted to spend time alone. So that was really, really good in that regard. When I started to hang out around the wrong crowd, it was probably around like that 16, 17, 18, where you start drinking a little bit, you start partying a little bit. And me and my cousin actually, we ended up DJing together, and we were part of it was a competition called Your Shot. Don't know if you ever heard it, but yeah, once we did that, we got a lot of exposure. We started to do house parties. We started to do pulse. We started to DJ at clubs.
Yeah.
And with that came a lot of the wrong crowd.
Yeah.
and we had access to after parties. We had access to benders, really. And even though it wasn't me, I think, you felt so accepted into this new thing that was exciting. I kind of
Mm.
just rolled with it.
Yeah, it's like novel and
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, yeah. And it just got to a point where I was like, this is just not me. But
Mm,
when you're in that, it's really, really hard to get out of that.
definitely, yeah.
So, and I guess like I was pretty lucky because, and this is why I love the gym so much, and I believe it actually helps people change their lives, is for me, that was like the one thing that was keeping me straight. Yeah.
Yeah, you kept coming back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as I was learning more about the gym and I knew I had to like eat right, sleep right, be consistent,
Mm,
the DJing, the partying, the taking drugs, taking alcohol, that was taking me away from that.
yeah.
So at one point I kind of had to choose, and lucky I chose gym.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. I think it's a pretty common experience for a lot of people in Australia when you're growing up here because we are such a drinking nation. It is starting to turn now more, I think, but yeah, very common experience to be going to parties when you're 15, 16.
13.
Yeah, for sure. For,
Sorry,
for,
parents.
for some of the cool guys out there.
At a friend's house.
Yeah. Um, yeah, well, I think if you compare it to America, like 21,
Massive difference.
we're so much younger, especially when you're at that age, like you're not developed enough, you don't understand your values, you don't have direction in life, and something novel and fun is going to steer that boat 20 times
Absolutely.
more. Yeah. So yeah, I like the point of how it's how you kind of had to choose eventually. What do you think was the first time you felt like yourself at the gym, or was it at school? Was it with your friends?
It was by myself. It was doing stuff by myself. I found a lot of time hiking was really good for me.
Mm,
Um, yeah, I'll probably say like hiking, gym, skating at the time. I love that too. And I was surfing at the time and playing sports. So I
yeah,
think it was either being alone or being active.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
When did you first start going to the gym?
I'd probably say 15. Yeah, because it was a school elective. I think I was in year 10. Is that right? 15 year 10? I think so.
Yeah, 15, 16. Yeah,
Quick maths.
15, 16, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, it was an elective at school, and we actually went to this like little gym in Minor FCF upstairs. Very old school, very tiny. And yeah, I think there's something about it. I got like this instant feedback. And I know the gym's also taught me delayed gratification, but
Mm,
going to the gym, lifting weight, like getting those endorphins kicking off, seeing yourself pumped up in the mirror, I
mm,
was like, oh, what is this? Like,
yeah.
there's something to this. So that was pretty exciting. And also too, because when I was lifting, I was kind of like alone.
Mm,
So it was both the being alone and having movement and getting that instant feedback. I think
yeah.
all of it together was quite exciting for me.
What first pushed you to go to the gym?
Yeah, good question. I honestly think it was just I had to choose an elective.
Mm,
And I think at the time it was like maybe surfing, which I think I did prior. I think it was like each semester you had to like choose a different one.
yeah,
And I already did the surfing one, and I think this was just next on the list.
there
So
you go.
I don't know whether I fell into it. Who knows? But
Yeah.
yeah,
Did you take school seriously when you first came over? Not at all.
nah, nah. Reason why I stayed, I did make a couple of best friends in the end there, and we just ran amok. Like
Mm,
we just had fun. It was social. Uh, I actually in year 12, I actually started to develop vertigo. And I got these really bad like migraine spells, probably for like 6 months, especially while we're doing all the tests towards the end of the year.
mm,
And I lived at the time about a kilometer away from school, so I would just walk to school and walk home. And mum was always at work, and it was just me and her.
mm.
So every single time this migraine would come on, it would kind of end either me throwing up or having to go to sleep, and hopefully when I woke up, it was gone. Those were the two options every single time. And not many people knew because I was kind of like hiding it because I don't know whether it was embarrassing or whatever at school. And mum didn't really know because she was around, but she was working a lot.
Yeah, I did say it.
So as soon as it would come on, I would just walk home.
Yeah,
So
right.
my attendance rate was terrible.
Did it you normally come on when you were walking to school?
not walking to school, just at school.
Mm.
I don't know if it was stress induced or
Sounds like panic, yeah.
something else. But as soon as it would come on, I would just think, oh no, like I don't want to spew here. I don't want to end up trying to sleep at school.
Yeah.
So I would just go. And like that kilometer walk, sometimes I'd be so dizzy, like I would just make it home.
Yeah.
And as soon as I'd make it, I'd spew or I'd have to just go to bed.
Yeah.
And obviously the school caught on this, they were like, your attendance rate's really, really low. We might actually have to like get you to repeat or whatever. And when I actually started to deal with it and went to the doctors, got the certificates, they allowed me to pass.
Yeah.
So,
What did they say it was?
oh, man, to be honest, from memory, I don't think we ever actually pinpointed what it was. I remember going and doing a lot of tests, a lot of scans, eye test, brain scan, getting my organs checked, blood work. And funny enough, I think I ended up giving up. And someone mentioned getting like a deep tissue massage or getting like needling through my traps and through my neck. So I did that and it went away.
There you go. Wow.
Crazy, but still don't know what it was.
Yeah. Have you experienced it since?
I've experienced vertigo since, but totally different thing. I'm actually deaf in this ear now. And once that happened, I lost about 50% of hearing in this ear. And once that happened, it obviously throws you out.
Yeah.
So not the same thing.
Affect your balance too?
I'd like to think now, no. We can test it.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Wow, that's fascinating. When you first started going to the gym, you're going through this young kind of teen phase. At the time, like I think gym's very popular now, but yeah, it's only been probably a recent thing where you're starting to see more of a younger crowd go through.
Yeah.
What was that like for you stepping into a gym? I think from a boxing point of view or anyone in kind of combat sports, it's quite nerve-wracking the first time you step into one, unless you've been in there since you're like 6.
Yeah.
What was that experience like for you?
I think going with the school as an elective was a good entry point because in my class, the best friend that I had, he was a bit of a class clown.
Yeah.
The teacher that we had, he was kind of funny too, and me and him kind of clicked. So I felt quite welcome and quite at home. And like I said, because I already spent a lot of time in solitude, I had no problem being by myself. So when I went to the gym, it was just me. It was just playing music, like listening to the stuff that I love. So I already felt quite at home.
Yeah.
But when I started taking more serious, when that elective finished and I actually signed up to the gym, I started going like at night and on the weekends and stuff like that. Yeah, like you're right. Like I was the only 15-year-old.
Yeah.
And everyone else was like, even 20-year-olds weren't really in the gym then. You know what I mean? It was like 25-year-olds. It was so I spent probably a lot of it just going in, doing what I needed to do, having that time to myself, jumping out.
Yeah.
But after a while, obviously, like, give someone a little nod or, hey, you're using that weight. And you make enough interaction that, you say hello and you can you spot me and you become friends. But even those friends, they were like 20, 21, 22, and I was 15.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Are there any people that stand out to you now looking back?
Yeah, I mean, like my first proper training partner, I was probably by this stage 17. I think he was 20, Dane Forrest. I don't know if you know Dane. People would know Dane.
Yeah.
But me and him, he was a big part of, I guess, me getting into bodybuilding. Me and him just used to love going hard on our sessions. Like we wouldn't leave the gym until we're like legless or spewing, and that was the vibe. Yeah. We love watching like the old school bodybuilders and just watching how they would do things.
Yeah.
And
did
that's
you have any favorites growing up?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta love Arnold, right? Like I think it was cool that he kind of made bodybuilding cool, especially like in movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Dorian Yates for me was really, really cool. I'll probably say those two. But then as I was kind of coming up in my teens as well, the new age sort of aesthetic bodybuilders I was actually drawn to as well. So here's your Jeff Sides.
Yeah.
And because at this time too, when I was DJing, it was all about that music and that aesthetic look.
Yeah,
and
it is for that for a lot of people, I think.
Yeah. And it's someone who, I was like, I'm a smaller guy, and I think like I was like 50 kilos or less when I started lifting and a small frame. Watching these guys be confident.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, there's something to this. I want that.
Yeah.
So that was a huge sort of motivator for me as well.
Definitely. Was there anyone outside of the gym that you looked up to? Like I know you're quite big on mindset now. Who are some people there?
Not anyone in my circle, or not anyone that I knew personally, but a lot of the time I spent by myself, I was watching YouTube. Just literally on my spare time, like from 12 to I do now still.
Yeah.
And I think I leverage a lot of my inspiration and who I kind of called my mentors that weren't. Like musicians, YouTubers, Christian Guzman.
Yeah.
If you know him, I pretty much watched him from when he started. And I think he had a perfect blend of that, his own fitness, but also building a brand and the mindset.
Yeah.
And that really inspired me.
I think it's a cool thing because, more and more now we're seeing like online engagement is just everywhere now. You used to be able to go to the gym and you'd make a friend there, and that was like maybe you looked up to them in some sort of way. But the online space is kind of dominating that so much so now. It's interesting. Yeah, I think even still now, there's people that I look up to that I'll probably never meet, which is just a wild thing to think about. Yeah. So what about now? Who do you kind of follow now? Who are you looking to now?
Honestly, same guy. I was watching Christian Guzman this morning. I was on my cardio bike and I was watching him. Couple more people in real life. Yes, some mates actually who are kind of like where I want to go, that are just a couple of steps ahead. I think that's super inspiring to know that, they're people like me, similar values, hang out with them, and they're in a position where I'm striving to be.
Yeah.
I think sometimes when you put these people who you watch on internet on a pedestal, they seem a little bit too far away and you can't kind of grasp that connection.
Definitely, yeah.
But when someone's kind of doing it and you hang out with them and you see what they're doing, you're like, oh shit.
This person's human too, yeah.
Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah, definitely. I'm thinking for people that are kind of coming into the space now, and we're spending so much time online, so much time on social media, they might see someone and go, I want to look like that.
Yeah.
And that's my goal. Do you see that often?
I think like anything, get educated, because, even if we use this as like a business sort of space, most people are working or have businesses, right? Like you wouldn't kind of come into a career, an industry, or start a business and be like, I'm going to make $1 million this first quarter. You know what I mean? Like, if you get educated and you actually get to know what it's like running a business or what it's like climbing, the ranks in that career, then you kind of go, oh, okay, like it takes a little bit longer than that. Maybe you can stretch that goal out. You can still achieve it, but maybe not wanting it right away. And like influencers do have a part to play, whether they, that's all they show is like the highlights and the shiny stuff, and that I did this in a year, which it's bullshit. Like to for most people to get your dream physique, because I'm jumping on consultations like, at least 3 to 5 per week. And most people will say, I want my dream physique, because they correlate that with, I'll be at my most or at my peak confidence when I reach X physique. And what they describe to me is about 3 to 5 years away. And some people might want this in 6 to 12 months. So I think when you kind of just educate them on the process and the time like frame that it takes, especially if they're, going to stay committed, then it just might open their perspective to, what it actually takes.
And I think there's a difference between like being intrinsically motivated to do something and being externally motivated for like, I want this physique, and if I could choose it tomorrow, I'd get it. But it's do you attain the thing without learning the process of how to attain it, or do you learn the process and maybe risk not attaining it, but you've learned?
Well, it's like they say with like lottery winners, like they'll win the money, but then they lose it straight away. So it's kind of like that. And I think, for most people, the shiny object that attracts them or motivates them is the end result. But, they've got to be open to also, and again, it's around education. It's around learning this stuff. It's actually just all about embodiment and then changing your identity.
Definitely.
And when you do that, you actually show up to the habits, the routines, and the consistency.
Yeah.
And like why I love the gym and why I'll harp on about it and why I chose this as my career is because it literally taught me all the life lessons that I didn't get to learn as a kid. You know what I mean? So, delayed gratification, progressive overload. I put progressive overload in everything in my life, relationships, business. You put more in, you get more out. Delayed gratification, it's understanding that not everything takes 5 minutes to attain.
Yeah.
You know, some
Yeah.
things, and in my experience, the harder it is to get, the longer it takes, the sweeter it is, the better it is to have.
Definitely, yeah. No,
So,
it's so true. Half of the satisfaction from attaining it is the amount of time that you sacrifice to get it, the
absolutely.
things that you go through to get it. It's like the
Yeah.
person, yeah, that wins the lottery doesn't feel like they've earned it. It's a bit of that kind of imposter thing, I think. But yeah,
Find a way to get rid of it.
definitely, yeah, go and gamble it. Yeah. So how do you think social media is kind of affecting that? Because I think for a lot of men, it's probably going down that kind of bodybuilder road. I think for me at least, yeah, when I first started training, I was like, I just want to be bigger. Like
Mm.
I've got skinny legs. Like I want to fill out. And it was like,
They're pretty good, bro.
appreciate that. But I think it was, yeah, the goal that I had initially was like, I'm skinny. I don't want to be skinny anymore.
Yeah.
And along the way, like I found a sport that I loved, and I was like,
Mm.
now I want to get better at that.
Yeah.
And so I changed my routine. And I think the process of going to the gym starts so many conversations for people,
Yeah.
and it will realign your values. Which maybe at the time I'm like, hey, I wanted to get bigger legs. Now we're kind of doing something else here. What are we doing? Maybe it didn't seem in line, but I'm so much happier that I went down that road,
Yeah.
because it's like, do I actually really care if I have skinny
Yeah.
legs? No. Like,
I think, yeah, people's like why just changes along the way. And I think you've got to be open to that. Like, you know, there's different seasons and there's different motivators and different wants. And I think if you're very self-aware, you'll know.
yeah,
If you're not, you randomly chop and change.
yeah,
But I do think as long as you're doing something that is, you know, because not only is it productive for your mental health and for character building as well, like especially fighting,
yeah,
but it's good for your overall health. Like you're doing something where you're spiking your heart rate, you're moving, your hand-eye coordination, like all this stuff is good for longevity as well. And as you get older, like you don't want to be, you know, frail.
yeah,
So I think it doesn't really matter what you do. I think as long as you pursue something, and if it drives you to a different sort of direction, then that's okay.
yeah. How do you kind of work with clients when they maybe come in with like a unrealistic goal, or like you said before, something might be 3 to 5 years away and they want to achieve it in 6 months?
Yep.
How do you kind of help them just get started on something? Do you give them that realization straight away, or do you let them find it on their own?
No, I do like to give the perspective straight away, because I think I wouldn't want to sell anyone a lie. You know what I mean? And I think what I do is I break down the numbers and what's really sick. So I'll like literally tell people, like if we're in, you know, X amount of deficit and your compliancy rate is 80 to 90%, it's actually going to take us X amount of weeks to drop the 5 to 10 kilos. And when you just give them the certainty of those numbers, they actually go, oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
There's a science to it. Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Like so now they start to click with the time frame.
Yeah.
And I'll also say too, like things that are achieved in a very aggressive short amount of time, it's not sustainable. So we can do it. And look, if you really, really, really want to do that, and like you don't want to go anywhere else, and I'm the person that you want to do it with, I'll do it with you, but it might come with side effects. And you might not feel amazing through it, and we might not be able to attain it. And as long as you know that information and you still want to go through it, okay. But if I ever see something going down the road where it's becomes too unhealthy, then, you know, I'm going to give my recommendations to stop. Let's bring health back.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was one thing we learned really early on with eating disorders was someone might seem recovered from one eating disorder and they've just transferred it to another.
Yeah.
So yeah, you do see that kind of bounce back and forth, and it really is consistency. And if you're being consistent in putting weight on, if you're being consistent in maybe losing weight, you want to be steady in that decline. You don't want it to just drop. It's not good for your mental health either.
Yeah. And just kind of like what you said before, where you were chasing this like aesthetic goal, and then somewhere along the way you found performance. I love that. And I always try and frame that even for people with aesthetics goals, where, you know, sure, females, you want to build bigger glutes, but like, let's put numbers on the weights that we're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
And because I'll be realistic, I'm like, okay, cool. If you want to put like 3 centimeters on your glutes that are that size are usually lifting these weights.
Yeah.
So if we do testing now, we can kind of see the gap we need to bridge. So then we can get hyper focused on performance in the gym and getting stronger.
Yeah.
It'll kind of take their mind away from like, oh, do I look like that yet? Because they enjoy actually being better and stronger in the gym. So they have a different metric to chase.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so true. It makes it attainable. It's like if you're just measuring of, do I have it 3 centimeters bigger? Yeah, you're gonna fail for
It's like
2
it's like
years.
it's like the guy who wants abs and he eats like salads and he's like, is it there yet?
Yeah. I'm gonna do 50 crunches until I get abs. Yeah, it's so true. One of the stats that I read, kind of prepping for this, I wanted to talk about mental health and fitness.
Yeah.
And people who exercise on the regular are 25 to 40% less likely to develop depression or anxiety. Have you had any personal experience with kind of mental health and training and that helping you through anxiety maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. I've definitely seen, especially through teenagers who are confused, who are angry, whether it's stuff happened in their life. I know for me, like, especially when I was in that point where I was partying and with the alcohol and everything like that, even though I've been very, like, I guess, self-aware at a young age, and, I'd like to think I was able to regulate my emotions. Going through that stage of my life, obviously with the drugs and alcohol, it would have been a lot easier to just go off the rails and to get angry and to lash out. But again, like going hard at the weights 4 or 5 times a week, it's letting all my anger out in a safe sort of healthier way.
Yeah.
You know what I
It's
mean?
regulating it.
Yeah, because all emotion is bottled up, and we can kind of regulate it through movement as well. So, and at the time I actually didn't know it, but looking back now, that's what I was doing.
I think sauna is something useful as well in that regard because you're not having to, for the people that don't enjoy weights or maybe they don't enjoy going for a run, it's like you can just sit there and it will be hard and you'll find your window of tolerance very quickly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's something that's super beneficial as well. So you mentioned before some of the lessons you learned from the gym transferred directly into your own personal life. What do you see in that regard? Like, is it the consistency? Is it balance? Is it progressive overload? You said, what are the main lessons you learned there?
Oh, good question. I think it's all of it, and I can almost see it playing out in my life all at different times, like which one's going to be important at a certain part of my life. I think at the very start, it was good character building because I actually like had a bit of challenges. Like I injured myself. I was figuring out how to eat properly. I was, like I said, living kind of like that double life. So I was like saying no. When I started to say no to friends to hang out and go to the gym, I was copying a bit of backlash as well. So it was kind of navigating all that. It taught me a lot of, I guess, mental resilience because, again, going through that at like 15, 16, 17, when you're quite emotional and drinking a little bit as well, every kind of time I sat with myself and I was like, all these kind of hard things are going on, but I can just always go to the gym and that would just ground me and I can think and I can be proud of myself for like sticking to who I am. I think that was like the very first sort of lesson that I gained from it. That was quite positive for my life. And then I guess progressive overload, that helped me when I started my business. Because when you start a business, I didn't start my business the right way. I didn't go to business school. I didn't have a mentor. I just started the ABN, made a Wix website, made some cards off Canva, and it was hard, man. I was like, no one knows me. Why doesn't anyone want to work with me? And there was so many times I wanted to quit. I was like 20 and I had 4 other jobs and, it'd be 10 p.m. at night and I'm trying to work the business. And there's so many times I wanted to quit, but in my mind, I was like, no, just progressive overload. Like, just put more in.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way I can keep putting this work in and not work.
Yeah.
Like I could just fail 100 times, but I'll learn a lot of ways to not do it. And I'm going to eventually find the way to do it.
Yeah. It's that saying of time spent in the market is better than time in the market. I think it's so true with anything. The amount of time you spend prepping yourself to start something, if you had just started it and continued it, you'd be further along.
And I think right now, where everyone is as well, especially with social media, there's so much mental masturbation. There's so much listening to podcasts. everyone listening to this podcast, but you know what I mean? Like there's so much
True.
reading
No, it's
books
true, yeah.
and there's so much doing this, but whatever it is, like just throw yourself headfirst into that industry or that thing. Like
Yeah.
I think I think you were telling me you randomly walked into like that MMA gym.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you were like shitting yourself and,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know, maybe you got kicked in the face. But you learn pretty quick.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
I agree. And I think the social media side is so true. And that was one of the motivators for me starting the podcast was I was losing so much time just following noise and not science.
Yeah.
And there's so many people, not saying I'm qualified to speak on anyone's life advice, but like finding a space, like I really liked Modern Wisdom. Yeah, that was something that I really
Love him too.
really loved that because that's actual science. And I think for the most part, I don't know about all of his episodes, but yeah, I think it's something that is really lacking in that space. You know, everyone starts a podcast and, you know, within the first 3 episodes, they generally quit. And the people that don't, it's like, well, is it, is it entertainment? Is it education? What are you going to provide? And for me, it was like, I literally saw myself consuming content that was not, you know, evidence-based. It wasn't spoken from someone that studied it objectively and not a biased point of view.
Yeah.
And it wasn't someone just shouting their own perceived experience and speaking it as if it was truth.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a common thing is people follow noise and not science.
Yeah.
And it's something that the space really needs.
Yeah. And it's crazy because like in a era of, I would say too much information, like you said, there's a lot of noise. That can be seen as it could be a positive because everything's so accessible, you know, like I imagine like 50 years ago, you'd have to go down to the local library and you'd have to sift through 1,000 books, right?
Yeah.
But I think it also comes with its negatives because like you said, there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of things that aren't true.
Yeah.
So I think it's quite important for people to find their teachers, right? Or the authorities that they want to listen to that have the back science. And I think just stick with them.
I agree. Yeah. Committing to one rather than trying one for a week and changing it again, you'll never get anywhere.
Because there's different perspectives.
Yeah. It was an interesting thing you said when we were doing the kind of prep for this. You said anyone can go to ChatGPT and get a program that's tailored for them.
Yeah.
What is it that working with an actual human provides for someone that could realistically go and find themselves a perfect program?
Yeah. So a lot. I think connection is one. In a movement where there's a lot of tech, a lot of AI, people are going to need connection more and more and more. And for a lot of people, especially just starting, it's not just the plan. People need to understand that it's not just a nutrition plan. It's not just a training plan. It's a transformation. And that transformation requires a mental shift, requires, new habits. It requires managing your lifestyle. And ChatGPT is not going to tell you that. ChatGPT is not going to hold you accountable to that. And it gets hard because, you know, everyone's already living a life with their plates full. Everyone's already struggling. Like it's a hard life to live these days. But when you add on that new thing and you require a huge sense of change from yourself, like it's going to be hard, right? You're going to fall off. You're going to have to take 4 steps back sometimes to go 1 step forward.
Yeah.
And when you are in that, you can get quite emotional and it's easy to tap out. And it's easy to not know the next step on how to reroute to get to the right direction. So a coach can see all of this happening before it even happens because we have helped, you know, for me, I think like over 500 people do this. So I know that, you know, by week 6, it's going to lose its kind of like honeymoon stage.
Yeah.
And you're going to start to look for something else and you start to get bored.
Yeah.
So I've got to be smart in my program design to give it a little jazz there.
Yeah.
So it reels you back in.
Yeah.
I know by week 8, if you're going through like, you know, a huge sort of identity shift, your friends might not understand. So they might start pulling you in a direction that you don't want to go. So you're going to have no one in your life who's 100% backing this transformational change that you truly want. But if you have a coach, you do.
Yeah, there you go.
You know?
It's the accountability too, like someone that you can follow up with or you're following up with them. And like you said, their friends might not be come to the pub or whatever it is. And
Yeah.
so,
Get that all the time.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's so true. Yeah. I think as well with AI and everything, it's the connection side of it is so important.
Mm.
Like spending more time on your phone is never going to be the answer. And spending more time just like finding the most optimal routine isn't going to make you a more efficient human. It's like,
That's for like the top 1%, really.
exactly. Yeah.
For most people, it's finding something that is sustainable and that they enjoy.
Yeah. And when we talk, even just from the recovery point of view, like, I really enjoy saunas and ice baths for just the enjoyment factor of it. I don't do it for the recovery side of it.
Yeah.
But I think that was something that kind of jumped through the hoops really quickly was, oh, sauna and ice bath will help you with this and help you with that.
Yeah.
And everyone jumps on it. And again, it's really, if you're doing it for the recovery side of thing, you need to be training like 5 or 6 times a week. And most people, it's like, if you're training 3 times a week, like, you don't need to do an ice bath. You don't need to do that.
If anything, like, and again, like you said, if you enjoy it, then great, do that. But ice baths, like people who do ice baths like every day could actually be detrimental to your recovery.
Yeah.
Because if we wanted to look at it from like an optimal standpoint, and if we wanted to learn from athletes, like the whole point of trying to get the most out of your training is to pretty much get yourself in that fight or flight response to get the stimuli for like 1 to 2 hours a day. But then the rest of the day, you want to be in that rest and digest. You want to get your nervous system back down.
Yeah.
So doing that ice bath, so many times per week, just consistently ramping it back up.
Yeah, that's so true.
So-
what about it? What about being that fight or flight state is helpful?
While you're training,
Yeah.
well, because you're putting yourself in that hyper arousal, so you're gonna like train a lot harder. You're gonna get the PBs. You're gonna progressively overload. You know what I mean? So you want your nervous system to be spiked up while you're training, but then that's it. For the rest of the day, you actually want it to go back down because that's when you recover.
You're big on mindset. What are your favorite things to kind of talk about there?
I love the thought of do hard things.
Mm.
I love that because life's hard, and I think no matter what life you choose, like pain is inevitable, right? So whether you choose the life of, let's say, mediocrity, right, where you're happy just to get a 9 to 5, and that's okay. Some people like that, they can just switch off when they come home from work, but that's going to come with its pains. Like with the cost of living rising up, you may not be able to go to the places that you want to go, or you may not be able to, give your loved ones the things that you want to give them, or you might not have the time, whatever it is. If you choose to go the route of like owning your own business or striving for hard things, that's going to come with its own challenges as well. Both lives are going to be painful, right? But I think suffering is a choice. And I think when you do hard things, you can kind of expand your window of tolerance, and the painful things, or the normal painful things that come up in life, don't have to feel as hard if you continuously show up and intentionally do hard things in your day.
Yeah, it's like having an ice bath in the morning.
Exactly.
Everything feels good after that. Yeah.
It sucks in the moment.
Yeah.
And if anything too, if you're one of those people who do the ice bath and you think about it longer than you do it, that thinking about it is painful as fuck.
Yeah.
Like your own torture.
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like you get in and you're just like, there's nothing. It's a physiological response that I need to get out of this.
Yeah.
Like if you're doing it cold enough,
Yeah.
you have like a
4 degrees, 5 degrees.
Yeah, I think 2 to 3 is like
Yeah.
that's
Fine tingling that.
that's the point for me where I'm like, get me out.
Yeah.
And I think there's a point of being uncomfortable, but there's a point of being like truly in discomfort. Like something might make you feel a little uncomfortable, like, oh, I don't want to get out of bed this morning or whatever. It's like, but discomfort, like a state of discomfort. Yeah, I think that's where you will see the benefits of that.
Yeah, it's a lot of character building in that, because like you said, like no one's holding you down in that ice bath. It's your own choice to like, you're hurting, you're shivering, your mind's telling you to get out, but you have this higher sort of side of your brain, or your higher self going, this is good for you.
Yeah.
Stay calm, stay in here, focus on your breathing.
Sucks right now, but
Yeah. And I think when because you have those two parts of your brain, one's going, get the fuck out, this sucks. You got the other one go, stay in, stay calm, focus on your breathing. And the more you listen to that part of your brain as well, that's stretching your character.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think, yeah, even though I said before ice baths aren't amazing all the time, if you're coming at it from the perspective of mental resilience, it's amazing.
Yeah, I think that is the key point that I got out of boxing so early on, because um it was that discomfort state, and I spent a bit of time like working with kids as well in that field, and one of the kids I used to work with was really talented, and he was really small for his age, and so when he got to the point where he finally wanted to do like even just a bit of body contact, he was so talented when it came to hitting the bag and pads, like phenomenal. Got in the ring and he was the
Just
smaller
got
guy,
hide.
and it was like, nah, he was just reverted, and it was just fight or flight, and I'm just gonna just shell up. And
Oh,
but you saw it. It was you could be as talented as you want, but if you don't know how to regulate yourself, you'll never be able to use it.
absolutely.
And so for him, it was like, okay, we're not going to teach him how to box better. We're going to teach him how to breathe. Because he would
Punch him in the face a few times. And
yeah.
you're
Well,
okay.
yeah. Well, literally, it's about being able to make yourself comfortable in that state of discomfort that I think really brings you that benefit. And for him, it was like he's never going to be able to use the tools that he's spent so long developing
Exactly.
if
Yeah.
he can't actually regulate himself. And it's the same thing in boxing when you see an angry fighter. That's dangerous for you, because you're going to put yourself in a position that's compromised. The person that's controlled and regulated will win 10 times out of 10.
Well, yeah, because they can actually express the skills. They're not just there to take your head off. You know what I mean? And yeah, if you operate out of anger in any situation, it's not a good thing. You lose your logical side.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, anything out of emotion is probably not a good decision. It's same thing with training as well. Like if you're feeling uncomfortable, but maybe I could go and shout myself a burger, or maybe I could just scroll on my phone instead. Like that's gonna make me feel better. That's
Quick dopamine.
yeah, it's the wrong pathway for sure. I guess that's the delayed gratification as well.
Exactly. Yeah. It's being able to sit in with that discomfort for a long enough period of time. And what I've found too is every hard thing that I've done, especially if it's like a really hard thing that like even takes a long period of time. Like for example, we spoke, I was telling you about my first competition when I was 18, 19, somewhere there. I think maybe
Tell that story. That's a good one.
yeah. So yeah, like when I was sort of going down that partying stage, as much as I wanted gym to be winning, like I said, it felt like a double life. And on one hand, there was picking myself, solitude in the gym. And then on the other hand, it was like trying to fit in with a crowd and, DJ and party and take drugs and everything like that. It kind of swung the other way where I was probably partying and taking substances more. And it actually started to scare me. I was like, oh no, like I'm not in control anymore. Like I say I'll go to the gym, but I wasn't going to the gym anymore. Or I say I'll stop partying, but I couldn't. And that scared me. So I just put my name down for a bodybuilding column. I was like, fuck it, let's just do it. Like put the name down, have the end date.
Yeah.
And every single morning that I was doing my cardio, it was 4 a.m. in the morning. I still had 3 jobs. So, at 18, I literally had to wake up at 4, do an hour's cardio, get ready for a tree lopping job. I'd do that from like 7 to like 3. And then I would do some PT classes for that gym that I first went to. I ended up working for him.
Yeah.
And then after that, I would then start my business, like work on my business after hours. So yeah, like it was a super hard time, but I was like, no, I actually just need to lock in. I need to do something. And those 4 a.m. cardio sessions, I would just picture myself in front of like 500 people in like, the fucking underwear that you wear. And like, I've got to be shredded, man. Because if I'm not, I'll look like an idiot. And that was, whether that was desperation or whatever, it worked. It was a
consequence.
yeah, it was a big motivating factor. So I ripped in. It was like 20 weeks of dieting and cardio and everything like that. So, it was a hard thing every single day, and managing 3 jobs, trying to start a business, and it was quite a very lonely chapter as well, because now I feel like those things are glorified.
Yeah.
Back then, I was a weirdo.
No one's there running with you.
Everyone's like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you doing a com? Why are you starting a business? Like, it's sus. So it was not only was it hard, it was quite a lonely chapter. And after doing that com, I was so freaking nervous. It was so scary. But after that competition, man, this wave of like, there was this pressure on my shoulders. It lifted, and it literally felt like this new guy stepped into his body.
Yeah.
It was like, here's a whole bunch of confidence.
Mm.
You did that crazy hard thing.
You got through
Well
it.
done.
Sky's the limit.
Yeah. And like, yeah, for me, that was a massive turning point in my life. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so true. It's the same thing with boxing. Like, just commit,
Yeah.
and whatever it is, like, same thing. I had to work 2-3 jobs and get
Yeah.
up in the morning and run and then go and train at night. And, there's that point where you just need to fill your day,
Mhm.
because if you're someone like yourself and me, if you don't have that thing to do,
Yeah.
you will make the wrong decision.
Yeah.
And so take that away, like,
Yeah.
fill it, go and do something. But yeah, when there gets to a point where you go, okay, this is sustainable for 10, 12 weeks.
Yeah.
I hit that. When do you learn, okay, now I'm learning this. I can't just fill every moment with things so that I'd make the wrong decision. Where do you go to next?
Yeah. Well, actually, another thing that I guess 6-month time frame taught me was, what's hard now doesn't have to mean it'll be hard later.
Mm.
So when you do something for the first time, whether that was, the pressure of a few jobs, the pressure of the competition, it felt really hard in that moment, but I've done that 4 more times, 5 more times since. So I've competed about 6 times now.
Mm.
And not that it gets easier, but you get stronger.
Mm.
So, even though at the time, and this is not for everyone, I'm like, competing is not for everyone. And I am someone who, I like to stay on, I like to stay busy. I've found a way to make it sustainable for myself.
Mm.
But, that sort of time frame actually taught me that, yeah, that was very, very hard, but you kind of just leveled up.
Yeah.
So you can like take a little bit more on now.
Yeah.
And maybe that was a 10 out of 10 then, but if you literally do that exact same thing in a year's time, it might be an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
So you can take a little bit more on.
Yeah. What's one thing you would say to someone that is struggling to get started and struggling to, like, be consistent, be committed? What's the one thing, like, they're not getting out of bed? What do you say to them?
I could say some cheesy stuff like, think of your why, you know? I mean, I think that the biggest bang for buck is have a support system, whether that's a coach, whether it's a best friend that checks in on you and calls you. And the other thing is commit as well. Like, I love that you said that. I have this frame in my head where I'm like, sign the self contract,
Mm.
because every time you say you're going to do something and you don't do it, your subconscious is always watching.
Yeah.
Right. And now I have a relationship with myself where I think of my subconscious as like my little brother that I never had, or my dad that's watching, or my best friend.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't say, hey, I'll be there at 2 today, or I'll come see you tomorrow, and then just not rock up.
Yeah.
Because you do that 10 times and they're going to go, he's not coming, and they're going to lose that trust in you and they're not going to like you.
Yeah.
So every time you say, I'm going to get up tomorrow, I'm going to go to gym on Monday, and you don't do that, that's dangerous. Your subconscious is watching, whether you like it or not. So my advice would be to sign the self-contract, commit, and when it comes up and you're in that moment of that split second in your mind where you're trying to justify X, Y, and Z, and it's cold and you had a late night, like, just fucking get up, just go. And I know that's going to be hard for some people to connect with, but you do that 3 or 4 times and you're going to you're going to realize, it's actually not that bad. And you get in momentum. And once you're in momentum, you're there.
I love the 3-2-1 method. It works so well for me, because it's like, when I don't want to do something and I've got every part of me is going, what about this? What about that? Do that instead. That's better, or whatever it is. I just go, I'm going to count down from 3. And I'm going to do it.
Then you have to go.
Just go 3, 2, 1, go. And yeah, it's that losing trust in yourself is only going to make it harder.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time that you do it, it will be hard.
Yeah.
But the next time you do it, it's a little bit easier.
I have this frame. I don't know when I started implementing it. I don't think I heard it from anyone else, but I'm sure it's out there in other ways. But I have this frame that I have my lower self sits on the shoulder, or higher self sits on the shoulder, and then I'm actually a neutral third party, and I get to choose who I listen to. So I get really competitive, and this actually shows up most in the ice bath situation. So when the lower self comes through
Yeah.
and my neutral position starts to pick that way, I got to act. I'm like, no, you can't let that guy win, because you let him win, he gets stronger
Yeah.
and he becomes you more and more and more. So that's kind of the frame. When I hear that, I literally just jump in.
Yeah. And I think from like even just from a psych point of view, it's like if you're choosing that side of you that is values driven, that's gonna be the right decision.
Yeah.
If it feels wrong, if it feels uncomfortable, doesn't matter. If it's in line with your values, it's the right decision.
Yeah.
If it's in line with a feeling, it's not.
Love that.
Yeah.
Because I think people can zoom in a little bit too much on the exact moment, the exact feeling. And because, you have that sort of child's brain where like pain, no good, right? But it's as you grow up, you understand it's not always like that.
Yeah.
A lot of pains that we choose is actually very good.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. The end goal is not to be happy 24/7.
No.
It
loses its
exactly
touch, right?
Yeah, that's not life. And I think for the person that's doing too much, to be able to like slow down, it's the same thing. It's like if my value is consistency, okay, if I'm doing too much, I'm not going to be consistent because it's only going to last X amount of time. Or if I'm like feeling every second of the day, I can't be present. So yeah, I think it goes for both ways. It's like, okay, maybe I don't have enough on my plate. Maybe I've got too much, and now I need to have some room.
Still learning that.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. What's where are you going in this space? What are your goals now? What are you looking for?
So at the moment, so we have a company now. We have a team of coaches, and we're looking to expand. I definitely want to have a top sort of, top leading coaching team, where we're still flexible in who we work with. We still have coaches who work with the higher end athletes. Personally, me, I love working with prep athletes or CEOs.
Yeah.
But we also still cater to, people just starting out with Gen Pop. I think it's really cool having that sort of different diversity in people, but also different starting points, because when we have all these people in a community, a lot of these high level guys can act as motivators or peers for the people just starting out, but vice versa as well. So that's kind of where that's going in terms of my business and goals in terms of that. Personally, I could be competing again. And when I say I could, I will.
Commit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, take my own way. April next year.
There you go.
So it's
Anyone listening, send him a message. It's April next year.
commit.
Signed in.
Yeah.
Locked in.
So that's starting to ramp up now.
Yep.
But also like you said, I've been pretty much 100% go since I was 20. So I think for me now as well, even though I have these aspirations, goals to expand and to get bigger, a lot of it is learning to know when to step back.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, you have a relationship. You have like other competing priorities.
Exactly. Yeah. So as much as I do want to grow in these aspects, I don't want to be at the cost of like a burnout or which I've done plenty of before.
Yeah.
So I think it's just getting a little bit smarter, getting finding what works for me. And not so much being in a rush anymore. Like when I was younger, I had these deadlines that were so unrealistic. Like I don't know, booming business 23, millionaire 25. Like and I think it was from growing up watching Christian Guzman and all these entrepreneurs, which I don't hate. I kind of like that there was a part of me that was a bit in a rush, because it pushed me.
Yeah.
And it showed me what I was capable of and what I could do.
More.
Yeah. But I think now, whether it's maturity or having a missus too, shout out Keely. She teaches me to slow down. So
I agree. Yeah, there's nothing more important. I think noticing the little things. As you can have goals, you can have aspirations, but the thing to pick out from the online content is everyone will sell you to not be happy with your current life and that you need to change.
Yeah.
And maybe there's a part of your life that needs to change. But if you are never happy with your life and that's the sole reason that you're changing it, it's like you're probably not going to be happy in the next phase. So choose the right decision, but like notice the little things that you enjoy, because when you look back, you go, oh, I wish I'd just like take a minute to just take that in.
Absolutely. And with that frame that I said before, with like the lower self, whatever, I have this other frame where it looks down the timeline, and there's that version of me who's a little bit more masculine and pushes. He kind of looks at the future a little bit more, and which is great because he's setting up a future for future me. And I love that. But if I focus on him too much, I'll lose touch with myself now, and I'll lose all the amazing things, the moments, being present, what I have now.
Yeah.
So that's another frame that I have, that like, how much time am I spending being that guy versus this guy?
Yeah.
And if I'm spending too much looking at the future, okay, cool, let's reel it back. Let's spend some time in the moment.
Yeah.
And kind of being aware enough to know where I'm spending time.
Yeah. Too much future is anxiety. Too much past is depression.
Yeah.
The perfect is the present.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Yeah.
It's a toolkit. You've got to spend different times with each lens on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love that. Thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure.
Sweet, man. Loved it.
Beautiful.
Done.
Yeah.
I really needed to piss.